Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Radio Free Decipher. With me, as always, is Kyle.
Actually, not always, because I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, but then we didn't do it last week.
Oh,
so there you go.
So pretty much always.
Yeah, I guess so.
Almost always. And Tom Lischke, how are you?
Doing pretty well.
Yeah. You two were both out of the office last weekend attending Origins.
That's right. That's right. And Tom, we had some pretty cool stuff going on. We brought you on the show again today to talk about it. Some good Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah, it was a really good weekend for us. It was the first time that we were showing the game off out of house, so to speak. The Origins portion of our playtest group, we basically one of the questions we asked is could they make the Origins, and the group that were filling good playtesting needs and also could make it to Origins was the first group that we've actually used from that 800 to 1,000 applicants.
How many people were at Origins playtesting?
I think we had about 40 people in the room, including all the officials, so to speak.
Okay.
So there were 37 or 38 playtesters.
So a pretty select group, really.
Yeah, well, it was about all that we could really handle in terms of direct feedback. But compared to the number that applied, definitely quite select.
And this was basically the first time anyone out of house has gotten to see the game.
Yep.
So what was it like for you?
It was interesting. It wasn't as, I don't know if it was a confidence thing, but I didn't really have any concerns about the game. It was more just interested observer rather than concerned parents, I guess.
Right. Well, and you've been through playtesting many, many times for the other products, primarily Star Wars products.
Yeah, except there, actually in the past, I've had a much different feeling, more worried about what people were going to think when they saw it and how they were going to react. But what we showed them is the core engine with all the layers of extra depth, or almost all of the layers of extra depth, pretty much stripped away or minimized. And we've been working on that for a while, and I'm just really confident about that aspect of the game. That's not, for me, going to be the tricky part, or if it was a tricky part, that effort's in the past now.
Okay.
So really it was a confirmation for us before we went on to adding in the layers of depth that our core engine was interesting and fairly quick and intuitive, and it played out that way. People picked it up. Well, the way that we showed it to them was we had a script that went for 2 turns of the game. And by the time that people had sat through 1 turn for each of the 2 players in a 2-player game, they were pretty much chomping at the bit to go and pick up their own decks and start the game. So
I remember we were showing them some like finalized artwork and stuff, and I remember Tim made an announcement like, "Hey, if you guys want to come up here and see some of the artwork, what it's really going to look like, come on up." And everybody went, yeah, we're playing.
Yeah, Tim was disappointed that
nobody wanted to see.
Yeah, they were all too engrossed in the game. They were having that much fun.
Yeah, what was an interesting, like from that interested observer point of view, what was a cool data point is that when people finished games, oftentimes at playtest sessions, you guys have been there. A game will end, and then the players will all go someplace comfortable, grab a drink, and just sit around and talk for 45 minutes about what happened in their game, what they liked, what they didn't like, what should be fixed, what were the designers thinking when they put that in there.
Those are the jaded bad habits of those of us who have playtested many, many times.
Well, that very well may be so. But what was very interesting is we saw none of that.
That's good.
They'd maybe make, they'd fill out their game report sheets, they'd make 2 or 3 comments to each other, and what was funny is it'd be like, well, I wish this was like this, and wish it was that. But let's play again.
Yeah, and, I'm going to try this deck now. Let's go.
Yeah, and they'd be right back into it.
Well, good.
And one of the more telling comments that we got the whole evening was, "Are you guys really going to kick us out at midnight?" After they've been there for 8 hours, just hammering at it. And
sounds like a major success.
A lot of people didn't want to go take their dinner break either. They were just
we had to keep the playtest room. We had planned to go and sneak away for 15-20 minutes ourselves and get a bite to eat, but
didn't happen.
Couldn't because
people stayed and they kept playing right through dinner.
Right.
Stuff,
so
I was talking to one of the. I'm not going to out any playtesters here because that's their prerogative to keep their some anonymity. But I was talking to one of them and he said, man, that game so affected me. He's like, it was so fun and so dynamic, and I dreamt about the game last night. I dreamt about he was talking about how he dreamt about certain gameplay elements and like it was affecting him or something.
We call that the Tetris effect.
I was going to say I would mock that, except I've done it myself for a few games of my life.
Thinking Tetris game.
That's a really cool thing.
Sit there watching blocks drop in your dreams.
And a lot of the playtesters were coming by the booth on Saturday after the playtest on Friday night, and they were asking me, and I believe they were asking you if they could get some decks and keep going at it.
Yeah.
Can we do it? Can we play some more?
Well, I wish we could have let them, but there wasn't really actually that much more to be gained. Like I said, it was really more of a confirmation.
Yeah, if we were maybe doing an analogy to say, wind back the clock to say Star Wars being tested, what they basically got to see were basic engines. They got to see maybe like the flow of the Force and the way locations expand, but they didn't have a full universe of cards.
It'd be sort of like if you got locations and they were all 2/1s for each side, and there was battling and basically no weapons, and force training with no modifiers. It was essentially a Star Wars analogy of what they saw. And for Star Wars, that would have been a pretty cool experience all on its own to see that stuff for the first time, even without the added layers of depth. But there's so much more. What's been so fun is to come back and say, okay, it's we have confirmation that the pedestal that we're setting all this on is very solid, and now we can go to the next evolution and bring in what didn't we have? We didn't really have the ring fully doing its thing in the game. We didn't have a lot of manipulation going on.
I was noticing that. I played one game that night. Actually, Kathy McCracken and I played, and we didn't see a lot of the really cool, like what would be called verb cards. A lot of the cool like engine cards.
There were a lot of nouns, and they were pretty bland. It was like chicken noodle soup instead of something more. But we've been thinking for weeks about all of these things we could add, and we were just holding back because we were really focused on that event, getting cards printed out, getting our playtest list down, making sure we got our travel arrangements. So we came back and immediately switched gears, and we probably had about 120 different unique cards at that playtest, and we're already back up over 200 cards. I mean, we've added, and the rest of this week is just going to be all about adding the rest of the card set. So it should be a fun week next week when sort of all of the cards in the base set will have arrived by Monday of next week.
And I must say, I got to congratulate Kathy because we played the one game, and I was, kind of showing her a little bit on how it was, and I kept bugging you guys about rules, but she did what we quote unquote called dunked the ring on me.
She gets me on the side path.
Yeah, she dunked it on me.
What was one of the other things we did, which we haven't really done before, is we didn't really give the players the rules. And an experiment to see how intuitive the game was, we did that 2-turn demo, and we gave them sort of a cheat sheet. It was just one page, and between the demo they had and that one page, they intuitively picked up on basically all of the basic functions in the game, which was good to see that it is that intuitive the first time. A comment that somebody we walked into Origins the first day. Mike and I were sitting around the food court grabbing a bite to eat before we went back to our rooms. And we ran into a longtime Magic player, and he said, I'm excited to see Lord of the Rings, and I'm hoping that when I play it the first time, it'll work sort of like Magic worked for me. Because when I played Magic for the first time, we didn't know half the rules, but we played it, and it moved us to the end of the game, and it was fun, and it all made sense, even though we weren't these veteran players. And it seemed like the Lord of the Rings engine has exactly that property, that it'll take you through the end of the game very intuitively, and kind of cradle you through your initial learning curve. But at the same time, I think that it's going to have basically all of the depth that our other core games really have. So
I've definitely seen that playing around with some of the other cards here in the office this week.
Yeah, they're there, and they couldn't really get there until we came back this week, but now they're starting to show up, and you see these cohesive strategies that they do these things that are sort of at a right angle from the core game system, but the game system accommodates them.
So your overall perception of the weekend was above expectation?
I think my expectation was so high that it was at that expectation.
Okay.
I was extremely happy to see that. Really, we had some of the guys that you'd expect to see in the top 16 of a world championship event, and some of those guys were able to dig through the glossy cover and poke into the numbers the math sitting behind the game, and they pointed out a couple things that were a little bit concerning to me, but that we can address. And it was great to have them there and see that, because it's not something maybe that we would have happened upon right away.
Sure.
So we have those mechanics sitting there, and they looked at these demo decks, the 4 different demo decks that we had put together, and just from those cards they said, well, what about this? And I thought, well, oh yeah. It's something that we're probably going to want to be aware of as we go forward.
That's why they're playtesters.
That's why they're playtesters. But other than that, the system really held up very nicely, straight to expectations. So.
Right. Well, I think we should probably let you get back to working on it then, I guess.
Oh, no.
You have a meeting that you're about to go into, don't you?
Yeah, we're going to finalize the templates today. And
what the cards are actually going to look like, huh?
Yeah.
It's going to be a long night. We've already had a couple knockdown dragouts over these things.
Really?
And it's just these minor little tweaks.
Of course.
But they're going to make all the difference. And with the system we have, there's one element that I've been going back and forth with the art department, and the cards are so beautiful, and it hurts so much to tell them that, yeah, they're beautiful, but this needs to change just this much to accommodate this
something else.
Need.
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of the process, but
and this goes down to every detail, like selecting the font, deciding what point size the font is going to be, whether it's serifs or italics, whether it overlaps this or has that, and it's pretty arduous.
Yeah, I think Chuck and the art department are going to have a knockdown drag out over the fonts. It's all for the good of the game, and everybody here knows it. So,
best of luck with that, Tom.
Well, thanks.
And thanks for stopping by again. We'll have you on the show, a couple times here in the near future. Keep us abreast of all that is Lord of the Rings. So.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, fellas.
Speaking of conventions, since all that happened at a convention last weekend, let's talk about what's coming up next week.
Yes, it's SummerCon time, and they just keep rolling one to the next,
right.
And San Diego is up next.
That's right,
which I actually get to go to.
Woohoo!
This is kind of a surprise for me.
I can guess what you're going to be doing there.
Yeah, I'm going to be running the Trek Open.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's sort of a last-minute thing. It looked like I wasn't going to be heading out this summer, but they unchained me from my desk long enough to go to San Diego.
Awesome. Well, we also have, at the shows this year, we have booth models.
Yes.
To, help attract people into the booth. And maybe, when you're not running the Open, you can be our male booth model down there hanging out with those two.
Is that what I can do?
Maybe it's just an idea. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, that's an interesting idea.
That's okay. For everybody out there in Radio Freeland, that is such a great answer by Evan. That is the classic. Like, if one of us in the office says, hey, what about a game mechanic that does blah, blah, blah? That's the typical product development answer that basically means, like, yeah, right. It's like, interesting gameplay dynamic, This
is true.
Which basically means no way in hell.
This is true, and in fact, it takes on an extra added level of sarcasm for me, because I happen to think that interesting is actually probably one of the worst insults in the world. if you can't think of anything else to say about it, you say it's interesting.
So basically, Evan just gave me the big cold shoulder there.
Yes, I did. Okay, anyway, San Diego.
So we're going to have Trek Open. We're going to have opens for all the different games. We're also going to have, like we said, booth models. That's always fun.
The big news for you Star Wars fans, though,
is that we're going to be releasing Coruscant as a pre-release there. So get ready for that. That should be a fun tournament.
Yeah.
Everybody on the bulletin boards have been talking about, the objectives are uncommon, and there are uncommon Jedi and all that stuff. But hey, you know what? That helps you play the objectives.
Yeah.
If all the parts to the objectives are uncommon, you might be able to play the objectives in a sealed deck. So there's going to be pre-release for Coruscant. We also are going to have many celebrities at the booth.
Yes.
We're going to have Michonne Bourrier, who played Aurra Sing. We're going to have Timothy Zahn, who wrote many Star Wars novels, the Thrawn trilogy and Thrawn duology. We're going to have Mike Stackpole there, who wrote many Star Wars novels, including I, Jedi, and many of the X-Wing books, who also portrayed Corran Horn in the Star Wars CCG card from Reflections 2. We're also going to have Shannon Boxer there, who we all know is Mara Jade from many CCG cards and many Star Wars novels and comics. And we are going to have our favorite Star Trek celebrity, Vaughn Armstrong, there as well. So be sure and check out DeCaren, the new Herodian.
Yes, that's right. I love the way he says Herodian. It's very fun.
Yeah, he's got a great voice. Yeah, he's so fun to talk to. I keep talking with him because I've been helping him coordinate getting to the show. So he's very excited about coming there. They're all very excited about coming there, and they can't wait to meet all the fans out there and sign your oversized cards that you'll be getting. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we got Coruscant pre-releases, we got celebrities all over the place, we got open championships. There is no reason why you shouldn't be coming to the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
No reason.
It's going to be big.
So, and Evan's going to be there. So
I'm going to be there.
You got to see Evan.
So, yeah.
So what else is going on? Oh, hey, you know what came out 2 days ago?
Scum and Villainy.
Scum and Villainy. Man, there are some fun cards in there. My favorite card from the set, Camouflage.
Yeah, that
Every single light side deck is going to have 4 camouflages in it, or 4 or 5. 5 camouflages in it.
And now you got all your independent deck possibilities.
No, I got the things that I need to start up a Boba Fett deck. So I got. As soon as I get a few more cards, boom, I'm all about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Fett fan. So bounty hunting. I think I was a bounty hunter in a previous life. We also got another one coming up here quick.
Yeah, Young Jedi Reflections is coming on the 18th.
That's this Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
Right before Comic-Con.
Yeah, which means it'll be there at Comic-Con as well. We, of course, had a pre-release for that at Origins.
Yes, we did. We also were selling Young Jedi Reflections at Origins. So
those
cards are
big,
out there. Yeah, we sold so much Young Jedi Reflections. It's incredible.
Well, it's all those crazy cards in there. The double impact, the combo battle cards, the armed and dangerous cards.
There are some good cards in there. But just a quick gameplay note. There was a message that went out just recently from Dan Bojanowski, our organized play director, who's in charge of all tournaments, that there's a new policy in place that whenever a card is released, it is not legal for championship circuit play for 1 week.
That's correct.
So that means all the Young Jedi Reflections cards will not be legal for the Open in San Diego. However, it will be more than 1 week after the release date of Scum and Villainy, so Scum and Villainy cards will be legal in the Jedi Knights Open in San Diego.
Yep. There you have it. Straight from the Bojo's mouth.
That's right. We're calling that the Bojo 7-day ruling.
Oh, wow.
That's just our little in-house ruling name for the ruling. So that's what's going on with Young Jedi and Scum and Villainy, and boy, there's all kinds of stuff going on with Coruscant right now. Cards are just popping up all over the place on the website.
I see that a lot of the big guns went up in the first couple days.
Man, you know who's going up today on Friday? Darth Maul.
Is he really?
Darth Maul's going up today.
He's cool.
So I'm sure, actually, people have priorities, and all the Star Wars players already know that Maul's up because they're probably going to go there before they come here and listen to Radio Free Decipher. So, how'd you enjoy Maul? Was it good?
Of course you can't hear them.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll just wait for your answers telepathically or something. So tell us a little bit about the Borg. We're still a little ways off from the Borg.
We're about 2 months. We're looking at a mid-September release sometime. Speaking of things that are going on about the time this gets posted, I'm doing a Q&A session probably even as you hear this, if you're logging on right away.
So you're kind of like in 2 places at once maybe right now.
Maybe.
That could be fun.
But Friday at 4 to 5 is the chat session. That will probably have already gone by the time you hear this, so you can log on to the Everything Else Trek BBS and see all of the discussion about Borg. We're doing a Q&A. I will be there, so will Kathy McCracken and Todd Soper and Brad DeFruiter, the whole Borg design team. is going to be there answering questions.
That's a lot of Star Trek know-how right there.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if we can bring that much know-how to bear in one room without it like crashing, but we're going to try.
Cool. What kind of things do you hope to talk about?
Well, let's see. I anticipate that one of the earliest questions is going to be what's next. Because as much as people are interested in seeing, what's going in the set, everybody seems to want to know what's next, especially since about 3 or 4 broadcasts ago, I dropped some vague hint about how the set after Borg was going to be of interest to longtime players. So, on the assumption that I'm probably going to have to give that away there, I'll go ahead and tell you here, the set after the Borg is Holodeck Adventures.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally, Holodeck Adventures. Now, this was one of the first expansions ever announced. I mean, it was supposed to come after Q Continuum, right?
That's right. It was announced at a time when there was only one expansion a year, and the contract renegotiation, the original one, happened, and they reorganized the whole plan, and Holodeck Adventures went away.
But now there's way more fun things to put in Holodeck Adventures.
Nobody's going to believe that we're actually doing this, but we are.
It's true. He's already done like millions of pulls for it, and boy, you've got some fun ones.
This is going to be a fun set. We get to do stuff from Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Next Generation. We may somehow even cram a few original series cards into the set.
Maybe some movie stuff.
There may be some movie stuff from First Contact, and it's just fun, Dixon Hill and Sherlock Holmes and Captain Proton and all that.
Can I tell everybody what my favorite card is going to be? My favorite card in the set is Satan's Robot.
Yeah.
That's just this great name for a card.
Yeah, you have to understand that there are no cards written yet.
Right.
At this point in the process, it's a bunch of pictures on blank templates. And so consequently, we don't have any idea what this card does or even what card type it is, but I've already become quite infatuated with the notion of having a card called Satan's Robot. So
that's brilliant.
That's from the Captain Proton Adventures. So.
That's right.
So there you go. And that's going to be typical of the types of card titles in this set.
Sure.
Anyway, Borg, there are going to be more dual affiliation cards in that set, and they are going to appear in both of their background colors, as was the case in Voyager. Well, basically, go check out the chat, because there's going to be lots of information there.
That's right. And, switching gears a little bit now, Evan, it is Coruscant month.
It is Coruscant month.
And it just would not be a real Coruscant month without giving away a Coruscant spoiler.
Oh, you got one.
So I think we're going to have to spoil a card.
Okay.
Here we go. We have 2 cards that I'm going to actually give. One's going to be a light side. They're going to be counterparts, basically.
Okay,
one's going to be a light side. One's going to be the dark side counterpart. The light side one is reveal ourselves to the Jedi.
Ah, that's like one of Maul's 3 lines.
Yeah. So it's a unique card. In other words, you can only play one of these in a turn.
Right.
It's a Destiny 2 light side used or lost interrupt.
Ah.
Okay? The lore says Darth Maul was eager to make his presence known. The game text says use 5 force. Now that's a lot of force, but it's got some pretty cool stuff going on for that the 5 force.
Okay.
That says use 5 force to reveal opponent's hand, period.
Okay.
If opponent has no duplicate cards there, place this interrupt in the use pile.
Okay.
Period. Otherwise, used. So if they have the 5 force, or if they have a duplicate card there, you can either do a used or a lost version. So otherwise, used. Place a card revealed in opponent's used pile.
Okay.
Any card. Any one card.
Okay.
So if they don't have a duplicate of Maul in their hand, it doesn't matter. I'm placing your Maul in your used pile. Lost. Here's the lost version. All cards opponent has 2 or more of are lost, immune to sense. Episode 1 icon.
Okay.
So basically, it's sort of like a Grimtosh or Monarch with a twist.
Yeah.
With a twist. Costs a little bit more. You still get to look at your opponent's hand, but you get to do some cooler stuff with it.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
The dark side version is pretty similar, except it has a higher destiny. It has a destiny 3. It's called Kill Them Immediately.
Okay.
Dark Side, used or lost interrupt. The lore says Darth Sidious instructed Newt Gunray to dispose of the Jedi ambassadors. Rune Hako was not so confident, and he sort of got demoted.
Okay.
So, text, again, is use 5 Force to reveal opponent's hand. If opponent has no duplicate cards there, place this interrupt in used pile. Otherwise, used, place a revealed card in opponent's used pile. Or lost, all cards opponent has 2 or more of a lost, immune to sense, episode 1. Okay. So, they're identical mirror versions of each other except for the destiny number.
Okay.
Very cool cards, especially in the episode 1 environment, because, this doesn't happen too often in the, there's not a Grimtash or Monarch in the episode 1 environment. So, this is your new card to do that with.
Okay.
Not a Dejarik, though. Not a Dejarik.
That's true.
No holo game board with these cards.
I guess not.
But those are the 2 Happy Coruscant Month spoilers for you this week.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll have some for you next week as well.
Well, actually, we won't have any for you
right.
next week because there will not be an RFD next week.
That's right. Evan, both of us are going to be in San Diego, and since we don't have our handy-dandy Calvin sound man here anymore, it's going to be difficult to do a phone-in show.
Exactly. I mean, we could record the show, but then there'd be nobody to send it back here to.
That's right.
We're going to take the week off, and we'll be back with more RFD 2 weeks from now.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, have a good 2 weeks, everyone, and hopefully we'll
see you in San Diego.
That's right. Take care.